everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time tuning in, then thank you so much for being here. Today, I am going to talk to you about how I almost quit my dream. If you haven't seen my video before this, I recommend you go and watch it because it kind of leads into the story that I'm about to tell you now. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how I almost quit my dream and gave up my passion and really considered throwing it all away after so many years of hard work and blood, sweat, and tears. I almost gave it up, y'all. Got into the acting business about 7.5 years ago, and for the past 7.5 years, I've given it my 100%, my all. I'm so dedicated, so focused, and I worked so hard. 2017 was a really difficult year for me. Acting is an extremely difficult business to get into. Definitely have to have some very thick skin for it. Over all the years whenever I was acting, I never let the rejection, I never let any of that get to me. You get a lot of no's, and that never bothered me. I knew it's the nature of the business. 2017, I don't know what it was. I went through a year of, it was really hard on myself and just questioning everything and what I was doing and who I was. And 2016, I had a really great year in acting. I was like, yes, 2017 is gonna be amazing. I'm about to kill it. So I just had these huge expectations, but 2017 definitely just went a totally different direction than I had ever imagined. It was the first year that I ever questioned my dream and questioned if I should continue. That had never ever happened to me before. I was like, gotta keep going, gotta keep pushing, gotta keep grinding. 2017 was the first time that I was ever like, is this worth it? Am I doing the right thing? I started questioning it. I was like, God, is this what you wanna do? It was the first year that I was like, wait a minute. Is this the plan that God has for me? Maybe it's not. Maybe that's why I'm not where I want to be yet. I'm 31. When I started, I was 23, and I was like, you know, by the time I'm 30, I was, in my head, I'd have a series regular role. I definitely set high expectations for myself. I think that I turned 30. 30 was a great year for me, but halfway through is when I started to be like, oh shit, what's happening? What am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? That alone scared me to death. I have never questioned that. Ever since I decided this is what I want to do, I never once, not one time, ever questioned if it was what I should do. And that terrified me. Does that mean something? June of last year, I decided I was gonna quit bartending. I knew that that era of my life was done. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to New York. I'm gonna do some training and classes and workshops and just do the grind in New York, come back to Atlanta, and then decide what I wanna do. I hadn't booked anything, y'all. 2016 ended so great, and then 2017, I literally didn't book anything. Nothing. The entire time that I've been acting, I had never gone that long without booking anything. And I was like, what's going on? Like, now I'm better, I'm more trained, I'm a stronger actor. Why all of a sudden am I not booking? It just didn't make any sense to me. Maybe God is sending me a sign. Maybe he's telling me that I need to think about something else and not have this be my main focus anymore. So I went to New York, I came back, and I was like, all right, what am I gonna do now? So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just figure it out. I know it'll come, it'll just all work out. Literally about a month or so after I got back, talked to a friend of mine. She's like, oh, you should reach out to one of our friends. She's working at this mortgage company, which I used to do in the past. So I text my friend, hey, like just trying to fill out the job to see if it was flexible. And what she said in the text was pretty much, it can be flexible eventually, but at first no. And I was like, oh yeah, nope, not gonna do that. So I just let it go. Well, literally 3 days later, I ran into her randomly, and I never ran into her. Of course, the whole job situation came up. She was like, you know what? I really think you should give it a shot. The first 2 months of the training is the most intense part where you can't miss any day. You really have to be there. After that, if you need a day off here or there, it's really not a big deal. Once you get to senior level, your schedule can be super flexible. Our next training session starts in November. November, December, you would have training, and then January, things would kind of shift. At this time, it was September. In the acting world, normally around the holidays, things tend to slow down. And I was like, okay, well, I haven't had a booking in over almost a year at that point. What's it gonna hurt me to try? I'll just go and do the training, and hopefully by the time the training is done, it'll be January when things start to pick back up. If I need a day off, if I book something, then it shouldn't be a big deal. I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I should do this. To me, I felt like God put that job in front of me, and he was like, here, you need to do this. Although I'd never had the vision of going back to work and being in a cubicle all day and working a 9 to 5, with this job, I was like, if I can get through this certain period of time, after that it can be flexible and I can do my acting and make this great money at this job. So that was kind of my vision going into it, but I just really didn't know. I was like, at that point, everything was just kind of up in the air with me. I felt really lost and really confused, and I was just searching and hoping for God to just send me an answer. And whenever this job sort of came to me, since I didn't really go looking for it, I felt like he was telling me, this is what you need to do. This is what I want you to do right now. I know you might not want to do it, but this is what I'm telling you to do. And that's really honestly what I felt in my heart. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the job. So before the job, there was a mortgage course and the mortgage test you have to take and pass, which is an extremely difficult test. And you have to pass the test to get the job. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna dedicate my time. I'm gonna give it my 100%. I studied super hard for 3 weeks straight. I went to go take the test, and I remember the day that I went to go take the test. I was in my car, I said a prayer. I was like, God, I don't know what's happening right now. Maybe you don't want me to be an actress anymore. I really hope that's not the case. But if it is, I'm trusting your plan. I'm trusting what you're putting in front of me, and I'm gonna go with it. I'm like, I'm gonna go take this test. I'm gonna do my best. If this is a move that you want me to make and you want me to do this job and try it, then if I pass this test, that for me is gonna be a sign that it's what you want me to do, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna give it my all. And that's literally what I thought going in. And I went inside, I took the test, and finally I saw the screen and I had passed. In that moment, one, I cried. I was happy that I passed the test because I'm proud of myself that I passed it. But apart from that, for me, it was a moment of, oh wow, this is what God wants me to do. This is what he wants me to do right now. This is the step I have to take, no matter how much I don't want to, and I'm really scared and I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how this is gonna go. I'm really afraid. But with passing the test, I felt like it was confirmation that I just had to do it. I had to just give it a shot. To make a long story as short as possible, I started the job. And let me just tell you this, I hadn't had a booking in a year. No availability checks, a year of nothing. I had so many auditions. I did get some callbacks, but no actual bookings. My very first day on the job, I'm sitting there, not even an hour, and I see my manager calling my phone. Availability check for this movie. I literally was like, God, I've been here an hour. And my first day on this job, within an hour, you're gonna tell me that I'm getting an availability check, what? So I confirmed. A couple days later, I had worked on an indie film a couple of years ago, and they were gonna reshoot the film, and I was literally getting ready to go to work that morning, and the writer calls me and he's like, hey, what's your availability for December? We're gonna reshoot the movie, I need you. I have a job now, I can't do it. I literally cried the entire drive to work that morning because it was a moment of realization, like I'm doing this job and I'm going to have to miss an opportunity already because of this job for something that I love. And I felt some type of way. I felt really anxious. That same exact day and that afternoon, I found out that I had a director callback for a TV show. The director callback was at 10:15 in the morning. At that time, I was supposed to be at work at 10. Whenever you get a director callback, you can't move things around. You gotta go when they need you. You can't make it, they're like, somebody else is gonna want the opportunity. So I couldn't miss the director callback. It was a recurring role in a huge TV show. And the next morning I got to work and I told my boss, I was like, hey, I need to come in late tomorrow, just an hour. To make a long story as short as possible, basically in that moment, she told me that if I wanted to work with the company, that I would not be able to pursue my acting career. When she said that, I knew exactly what I had to do. I was like, I can't do this job. My dream is still alive and it's still there, and I have to just keep fighting and pushing for it. I quit the job, I left, and I just remember leaving and crying so much because I had felt so lost and so confused and just up and down and back and forth for that entire year. And it took me to go through all of that process to get this very crystal clear clarity that I had been praying for and that I needed so desperately bad, and I finally had it. I'm going to keep pushing, I'm going to keep fighting. God sent me my signs that I needed, and I know that this is what I have to do, and I will never question that ever again. And I truly believe that that entire process had to happen for me to get to that point. Taking that job, really just going with it, was the first time in my life that I really truly feel like I completely handed everything over to God, and I was like, I'm gonna trust you. Whether I like it, I'm gonna cry. Whether I like it or not, whether it's what I want or not. If it's what you know is best for me, then I'm just gonna trust you and I'm gonna go with it. And maybe, you know, maybe I won't be an actress, maybe I will. But it was the first time that I really just handed everything over to God and was like, I'm leaving this in your hands and I'm just gonna follow the path that you take me on. Strongly believe, I think that God saw that, of course. He rewarded me for trusting his plan and doing what he told me to do. And after that, I have been booking ever since. I now have all this clarity. I feel so great. I'm in such a better place in life and I'm so happy. And I'm so happy that I went through that process. It was a very stressful time for me. It was a lot of sad times for me. I did a lot of crying because so far 2018 has been great. I booked my first guest star role. I ended up being able to work on the indie film that the writer had called me about because they moved the schedule to January. So everything just worked out and I'm so happy. And it's crystal clear. I will never ever question my dream and purpose ever again. If you're going through a similar situation, I highly recommend just pray. Just pray on it every day. Look for signs and just follow the path that you feel like God is guiding you on. I did it. It was extremely difficult, but the reward was so much greater than the struggle that it was during that time. I'm surprised I didn't break down and cry. I'm proud of myself. This is an achievement. But that's all for today. I will see you next time. Bye.